I had a meeting at Blur, which is where Tim Miller and Jeff Fowler, who both work on the film, were about a different project. And then at the very end of it, Tim Miller introduced me to Jeff Fowler and he goes, oh, he's going to be directing, Sonic, hopefully. And then later, a week later, they asked if I wanted to be the voice just in the test. And for me, I was so excited to be a part of the property at all. Like, I played Sonic as a kid. I'm a huge video game enthusiast, so I was like, of course. And the idea was just to do this thing. They would hopefully sell it to a studio or whatever, and that was where it was going to end. But I was so excited just to do that. And I guess it went well enough where Tom Hanks wasn't available, and I got to play Sonic the Hedgehog. It was very, very exciting. I remember getting the phone call from Jeff when he said, no, we want you for the movie now. And I did one of these, yeah, when I was by myself walking down. Yeah, it was very exciting. One of the things that I loved about the game was that when you play it, there's this aspect of it being like out of control almost at points. When you go fast enough, the idea of also going incredibly fast with a character in a video game is so exciting, but the idea that as you go fast, the game can get either more difficult or whatever, it's just harder to control. I loved the idea that you can go so fast in different ways of attacking, but the idea that you can like fly across the screen. If you have enough speed, this aspect of the stage will be different than a different part of the screen if you're going slow. Because when you play a lot of side scrollers, a lot of the games are the same speed no matter what, but you can change the speed of Sonic so much that it can change the entire path of the game and make it crazier or more exciting or something like that. It was always really fun. Also, Robotnik is one of the craziest looking villains. That is Dr. Robotnik is very exciting to try to defeat. Well, when I found out that I got it, to do research, like any good method actor or actress, I downloaded Sonic Mania for Nintendo Switch, which was just basically an excuse to play video games. I just played video games for a couple days and it felt like research, which was very exciting. And then in terms of the voice, in my head, when we were trying to figure out the voice, or even when I was doing it for the test with Jeff and Tim, and Neal, and Toby, baby, that I wanted it to feel like, because in my head, Sonic is like a kid, and he's got all this energy. He can go really fast, and he has all this energy, but also he's like a kid growing up, and so I feel like he doesn't know exactly where to put that energy. So not only when he uses his speed to get around, but also the excitement of learning things for the first time, and being on Earth, and meeting people, and stuff like that. So when he talks, which I do often, is like he talks with excitement, he talks fast, and he talks with all this energy and optimism. And I think that's where you find it. So it's kind of my voice, a little bit higher. What I do is I try to get in a room with about 150 hedgehogs. I get in the middle, and the backs of hedgehogs are very spiky, and I try to step on as many hedgehogs as I can to really get myself emotionally in a place of feeling hurt and excitement, and then I go in and record. I just hug, I lay around with hedgehogs. It's a big part of my process. It costs roughly $1 million per day, but listen, it's Paramount, baby, we got the money. And so that's kind of like how I get into the character, stuff like that. When Jim Carrey was how we learned about comedy. Things like Ace Ventura and The Mask and Dumb and Dumber, I still regard as one of the top 5 movies ever made. It is an incredible movie, but when you see this person who, you just looked up to as a legend, and now he's in this film, it's incredible. And also the type of work that he's doing in this, it just resembles so much of the stuff that I loved when, he was doing those movies when I was growing up, that it's so exciting to see. When we're watching, cuts of this film, I would look at Jeff or James or Tika and be like, like you look at it like, oh, because he's doing these things that you remember, it like touches a part of your childhood, and it just gets you really excited. I was very, very excited. And I think he gives an incredible performance. I think it's so funny. It's very exciting to see him do that type of comedy that, I mean, he's always been funny, and even like, I think his dramatic roles are incredible, but it's just it's such an interesting feeling when you see him do the things that made you, like love comedy as a kid, and see him like reinventing that and playing with that again. It's just incredibly exciting. I think one of the things that the movie does really well is that it gives you heart in Sonic, and you care about the stakes that are happening. It's kind of like this kid that doesn't really have a place to call home, and finally, I guess without giving out too much of the movie, finally finding his place a little bit in this world, and then it being stripped away from him. It's such a story where you see heartbreak within Sonic, right? So you feel for him. It's not just cotton candy, joke, 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 joke. You're invested in the character, so when good and bad happens to him, you care about the path of the character. And I think those are the things that make a really exciting movie and stuff like that. It was fun to see Jeff work. This is his first movie, first feature, and he did such an incredible job. But just to see on set also, to see how funny it is to see people act with a tennis ball or a fake Sonic, to me is very funny. very funny. But it was great to see the process and stuff like that, because there's a lot that goes into it. The idea that when you wrap this film, unlike other movies, you get into editing. When you wrap this movie, now you have to create this character and what it looks like and what it feels like and the emotions. Even when I was recording, I had a billion dots on my face and we did this motion capture thing. So to see it in the raw form and then to watch the process throughout, it's so exciting. Jeff Fowler was incredible. I love Jeff Fowler for many reasons. First of all, wonderful sneaker game. Second of all, incredible human being. Third of all, he loves Sonic. He loves it. The choices that are made in rewriting the script and directing are all done with such care from Jeff. And it was so exciting because this is his first feature and he did such a good job on it. But to be with someone who loves the property so much, it makes it exciting. You see it through his eyes. Every aspect of everything he does is done with such care and such love. I was so excited to see him do this film and to succeed on the level that he did. I think if you're a Sonic the Hedgehog fan, there's going to be stuff in there that you will love. But also the idea of making, you know, these big fun movies is that hopefully people will be introduced to the character and fall in love with the character and then find out why we all love the character growing up. You know what I mean? I think we talked about, I think the first Sonic came out in '91. And so it's kind of a whole new generation for people who didn't grow up with those things to see it. So I think it's really exciting. It makes me excited that people, I mean, that is my generation of video games. That's, you know, I was 10 years old. It was all, only played video games for decades. So it's exciting to feel that and brings me back to my childhood, but also introduces it to a different generation and stuff like that. So I think it'll be really exciting. And I think people who like Sonic the Hedgehog will enjoy this.